And joining me on this discussion now about what happens next. INS Vikramaditya has been dedicated to the nation. It's a symbol. The imagery is relevant. The message has been sent out. But what next? What is the next priority for the Narendra Modi government? He's made all the right noises. I have a veteran each joining me from each of the three armed services of the country. Major General Ashok Mehta, Air Marshal PS Ahluwalia and Rear Admiral Raja Menon. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. We always look to the wisdom of our veterans as we discuss issues of national importance. It's a source of great solace for the military, both the retired community as well as the serving community. General Mehta, to you first. That Narendra Modi made his first outing after taking oath as the Prime Minister of the country on a defense trip. He didn't spend very much time on board INS Vikramaditya, but he made all the right noises. So the indication is, the message is that national security is going to be of high importance. But General Mehta, the symbolism, the gestures are finished, aren't they? Because there's a lot of work to be done.
Yes, indeed. What we have to see now is what is the follow-up, and the follow-up must stay in the area of increasing and enhancing the operational preparedness. This is one of the areas that each of the three services has been wanting in, and you will recall that in 2012, former Army Chief V.K. Singh had created a stir when he had listed just the operational deficiencies in the army.
Yes.
So the first priority, and you can see things are moving, at least symbolically, that you've had environmental clearances for projects that had been stuck up for a long time.
And there's been some movement on that.
And there's movement there. There is the right kind of noise being made by Defense Minister Arun Jaitley. Of course, it's a different matter that you need a separate Defense Minister. But even so, I think the initial moves reassure the strategic community and the military community.
Okay, so you're saying that it's reassuring. I want to bring in Rear Admiral Menon. Admiral Menon, as a naval veteran, are you reassured like General Mehta is by what you saw today, or would you rather, reserve your observations until you see something concrete really done, especially since there is so much to be done specifically, with the Navy, Admiral Menon?
It is symbolic. And I think it's a very well thought out move on the part of Prime Minister Modi to go out to sea and board the INS Vikramaditya. It gives a great opportunity for him to speak on policy issues while speaking to the armed forces directly. This used to be the custom many years ago when political leaders used to often take the opportunity of visiting defense establishments to make major policy statements, like President Obama did at West Point recently.
Yes.
Unfortunately, this custom has fallen into disuse, and I'm glad to see that Prime Minister Modi has reinvented this system.
Air Marshal Ahluwalia, should we be underestimating the power of symbolism? The gesture of the chief executive of the country visiting defense installations, interacting with personnel. It's a practice that appears to have, fallen into disuse. And there has been, a period of ambiguity as far as, strong, decisive leadership as far as the defense forces are concerned. Is that one of the reasons why, apart from the media's sort of obsession with Narendra Modi, is that one of the reasons why the symbolism of today was more powerful? Marshal Ahluwalia?
I think let's be practical. This was an entirely very, very symbolic for the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, to join the Navy at sea. Especially regarding after the resignation of the last naval chief.
Yes.
And it's a hands-on visit to meet the war fighters on deck. And that is very symbolic, that you are conveying to the military that we are with you, we understand, and we will be there to support you.
Yes.
That is the first message that should be going out. The next message, if you do want to take it operationally, is that this is an aircraft carrier. An aircraft carrier is meant for power projection.
Yes.
It is meant for mostly sea denial activities, and it is an indication that India is announcing that yes, as far as the IOR is concerned, we are going to play a very prominent role
Yes.
in the exit and entry points of the IOR.
Yes.
And therefore, considering these two separate issues, all in all, it's a very welcome visit for the Prime Minister. And just like you mentioned, earlier this was not the case. There were very few visits of the politicians and you can say executives at the highest levels of the government to get involved.
Admiral Menon, you know, given the sort of recent turbulence within the Indian Navy, you know, what might we imagine would be going through, you know, the top brass in the Navy's mind right now? Would it be a sort of affirmation, a reassurance from the Chief Executive of the country that he's chosen to actually make this visit to the Vikramaditya one of the first things he's done? You know, will the Navy be on a much stronger foot to fix what's wrong now?
The armed forces have very strong systems to correct whatever goes wrong within the service, and I'm sure that the Navy must have got over the trauma some time ago. All the same, it is good reassurance on the part of the Prime Minister to visit the Vikramaditya. But more than giving reassurance to the naval personnel,
Yes.
I think it's symbolic of the fact that an aircraft carrier is actually a symbol of the power of a nation outside its borders.
Yes.
And Prime Minister Modi, I think, is indicating his acceptance of the fact that that Indian power is significant in the Indian Ocean.
Well, we're gonna be discussing this for many days and weeks ahead. We're completely out of time on this particular discussion because it's a heavy news day. But gentlemen, thank you very much for taking the time out and speaking to us here on Headlines Today and giving us your view on what you think about, let's face it, what is only a symbolic gesture right now. There's a huge amount of work ahead. Admiral Menon, Air Marshal Ahluwalia, General Mehta, thanks very much for joining us on this very brief discussion. I'm sorry it was so brief, but thank you very much for joining us.